All right, gonna make these as quick as I can. So recently, I finally got a copy of the third and final Headhunter studio album, Manchild. Uh, and I gotta tell you, this blew me away. This is Wayne Shorter comes in on alto sax and um, soprano sax. Whoops, and Bernie Maupin on soprano and tenor. And man, Herbie having to write like he's back in the second quintet, which sets up essentially the return of the second quintet with the VSOP about a year later, uh, year and a half later. You know, the modal bop harmonies come in, and I I'm really enjoying. I wish I had gotten this sooner. This might be my favorite of the Headhunters albums. You go through the heavy groove, cosmic funk of "Hang Up Your Hang Ups," the Traitor, the the more mellow, conversational, easy bubbles, uh, stepping in it. Just it, it's the Miles Davis glory era on here, and that's a solid starting off point for somebody. If I was to give them a Herbie Hancock album, I this this might very well be one of the ones I give them. That, or if they're feeling daring, the first Headhunters, because it's we're getting some funk, we're getting our jazz. It's not as rapid fire Cosmosis stuff, but Chameleon, Watermelon Man. My absolute favorite from the Headhunters period is Vein Melter. I know that's not one everyone goes with, but you really can't, you can't complain. You almost can't compare the Headhunters trilogy to much at that point in time. It's like comparing them to well, let me think. This was 75, so Miles was just wrapping up and he was going crazy with Agartha and Pangea. But, Return to Forever, the Headhunters, it's two of the greatest period, just super groups or periods of jazz fusion ever exist. I don't care what anyone says. I know I got to include Mahavishnu and that, and even Weather Report, which are all spin-offs of the 68 to 70 period of Miles. But man, the Headhunters and Return to Forever just hit on another level. And of course, my least favorite of the bunch, the middle one, Thrust. That badass album cover. Yeah, either way, you can't go wrong with the album covers, right? Uh, be careful when you go get a vinyl copy of this, because mine was $15 when I got it 4 years ago, and yeah, it's got grooveware on it. They didn't do as many pressings of this album, so the lacquer would just keep running out, and the stampers would go bad. So if it didn't come mispressed from the factory, it gets a lot of service and groove wear fast, especially when you've got actual proof and butterfly on here. Absolutely gorgeous. But if you don't get a very good plus, OG copy of it, you're gonna get a lot of fuzz and surface noise through all the quiet parts. This is your initial we could say street level funk, a little bit of groove. It's more of a drive, but it has a lot of quiet moments too. And then you get to Manchild where they're just off the walls, off the chain, I should say. That's so damn good. I might have to go play that again. Okay, and the reason I mentioned the VSOP arc and you would get uh, Secrets, and then you get Sunrise, where he starts using the vocoder in '78, and that leads into a couple of Japanese albums, and the the more pop disco dance of Feet Don't Fail Me Now and Monster. But then he would do, with that same lineup, he would strip away the vocoder and he'd do Mr. Hands, a Japanese album. And while this is all going on, he's got the VSOP band putting out live albums and stuff like that. I mention this because it's a weird gap in early '78 where he does a tour with Chick Corea. So you have Herbie Hancock and Chick Corea in concert, set 1978. Uh, and then you have on the flip side, since Chick had like three, almost four albums in '78, his record company held up the flip side of it, Korea Hancock, until early '79. Is Polydor, and who was okay, and then Herbie was on Columbia. So what you're getting is the reason it's separated. You're getting these dueling piano tours, and they're doing on the nights like some nights where Herbie leads some of his classics along with a couple of Miles tunes, and when he does some of Chick's tracks, if he's getting the lead, you're getting more of a conversation. It's more starting off as between friends, just having a peaceful, just having a drink, having a smoke, getting to reconnect, just sitting down at the table, maybe having a meal. And this is especially noticeable when Herbie does the lead for La Fiesta. That's Return to Forever off the first album. That's a 22-minute just early cosmic jam. Even though it was on quiet, the first album was pretty quiet. His version of La Fiesta when Chick is rhythmically playing and dancing along on his keys, but he's letting Herbie set the tone and he's being respectful about it. And Herbie builds it slowly. You get to, think of it like building a fire at the, old school with the sticks and the rocks and rubbing them in, and then the dance starts at the end. It takes off. Whereas on the Korea Hancock version, oh my God, this is so. When Herbie lets Chick, by contrast, because both side fours end with Maiden Voyage, La Fiesta. When Chick gets to control the flow in the narrative, man, Maiden Voyage just moves. There's much more rhythmic interplay instead of just harmonic emotions. Instead of the dialogue, it's more of, okay, we're gonna, like I said, the fire thing. The Herbie versions are bringing everyone into the dance slowly and it building until the crescendo. The Chick versions are just Herbie has to play up, and it's much more of a duel on those versions. Where Maiden Voyage just goes rapid fire at the end, it stops, and it's maybe a 2-second pause, and then Chick starts doing with his left hand, he starts doing the Spanish vamp a little bit, just a little string, and you can actually hear people in the audience react because they already know what might be coming just from the little, and then you get to hear Herbie actually play the Chick roll and build the rhythm, the angular rhythm, while Chick actually does more of the Herbie style harmonic build up to get the theme going, the motif, the Phrygian style. And then La Fiesta on his version, instead of going 19 minutes, their version, the second version goes 15, and it's just. Whereas one was we were building the fire and slowly starting the celebration in the marketplace or in the city. These versions, the Korea-led versions of Maiden Voyage and La Fiesta are just, well, he went and he had a lighter, and they just started, and off it went right from the beginning. In fact, when you compare, Herbie's version starts with "Someday My Prince Will Come," Liza, so we're already in the more romantic, uh, conversationalist tone. I would say that the four total originals from these, where they're just going back and forth, playing off each other, "Button Up" and "February Moment" on the Herbie one, and then on the Chick one, holy shit, the hook is phenomenal. In fact, I would also say another stylistic thing. Korea's version is more, instead of slowly building the evening, being nostalgic and conversationalist, the, the Korea one comes out of the gate with Homecoming, and his is more of a classical, um, structured composer type of role. We're gonna introduce right off the bat with something to get the blood going. It's gonna be, instead of being very loose and open, this is gonna be, no, no, no. We're coming out firing, and we're gonna, instead of doing a slow build through each song, we're just gonna come out and keep ratcheting it up. Because after Homecoming, he does Ostinato from Bartok. Uh, well, like I said, Maiden Voyage to La Fiesta is just, it. It's like the Korea version of the show is very much, well, we're gonna start by burning the place down, and we're gonna build a whole new temple. Is how I would classify the distance. But again, it's two sides of the same coin. Essentially, it's how each guy chose to interpret not only their individual careers, but also any of their shared appearances, and how can we play off of each other. And again, I love when Herbie gets challenged. So, he gets taken out of his comfort zone on these when he has to work with Chick. And the same thing when he had to work with Tony Williams in the second quintet, because Tony didn't play it safe on that kit. Wayne didn't play it safe on the sax. So, and I say this, and now I'm seeing why I'm really leaning heavily towards Manchild becoming, within 2 days, becoming my favorite Headhunter album, because there's so much more going on when Hancock gets challenged by other people. Takes him out of his comfort zone. I might say another standout I left off. The one I actually keep going back to. I had to pick one individual. Side 3 on the Korea Hancock is called Bouquet, and Bouquet is just stunning. It's the one point out of both these albums where they're both taking off through each of their masks. They're dropping the virtuosic, genius creator aspects, and it's very raw. It's actually very emotional, and it's something I keep going back to, because you get all the romantic Herbie versions and conversation pieces, and then you get these, you know, uh, temple building, God seeking Korea cuts. But to get Bouquet, where they're both just playing back and forth and not even trying to one up each other. It's just, it feels like an honest conversation. Like, no one's there's no it's the one track on the Korea version that doesn't have any absolute total fire through the whole thing. You sit there and you go, oh, okay, what are these melodies? I didn't know they could play like this. And yeah, it's breathtaking. So, okay, I made that as quick as I could. I'm getting better with the pauses. 14 minutes. I'm gonna wrap this sucker up and put it in. Thanks a lot. Like I said, I'm not gonna go with the old phrase anymore, because we're already in hell, right? Have a good day, guys.